and welcome to Armchair Sports Fans. I'm Peter Stevenson, and with me today we've got the Cyprus Mail sports editor Leo Leonidou. Welcome, Leo.
Thank you very much, Peter.
We're going to be talking today about last weekend's action. The big talking points were the Liverpool-Manchester United game and the North London derby. As a Manchester United fan, Leo, what's your opinion on David Moyes?
My judgment is reserved still. It's been a pretty disappointing start, no doubt. In fact, United's worst start to a league season in 5 years. We always knew replacing Sir Alex was kind of impossible. Sir Alex himself chose Moyes. Like to have faith in Fergie's judgment. Obviously, it's very early days. 3 games gone. 1 good win against Swansea. 2 0-0s. First time since 2007, I believe, United have failed to score in 2 consecutive Premier League games. What disappointed me most yesterday at Anfield was, okay, United did have quite a lot of possession, but a very little cutting edge. Mignolet hardly was forced into any... Exactly, that's right. I mean, it's been well publicised for several years now that United need more creative midfielders, somebody to unlock a defence. Liverpool scored very early on, defended their lead, and it was up to United.
86 minutes to break them down.
That's right, it was up to United to break them down, and didn't look at all like they were going to do it, in fact.
Well, I mean, you had a player, Shinji Kagawa, not even on the bench in Sunday's match. What do you feel? Do you feel that Moyes just doesn't rate him? Do you feel that he doesn't fit into Moyes' system? Or do you just think that maybe he's just not the player that United signed? How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not really sure exactly what Moyes thinks. As you said, he hasn't featured at all in the first 3 games.
Well, he had the choice yesterday, and he said it himself, Moyes. He came out and said, I had to choose between Nani or Kagawa on the bench, and he ended up choosing Nani.
That's right. I would have chosen Kagawa for sure. Maybe even started him. We don't know how fit he is.
No. But nothing's come out to say that he's injured either.
That's right. But at the start of the season, I even said there's a few players that aren't United calibre. Ashley Young. I don't think is. Cleverly, we're not so sure. Fergie said he had a lot of potential.
Yeah, but how old is Cleverly now? He's 23?
Let's see. Even Valencia, perhaps, are his best days behind him. Nani, brilliant once every 10 games. Very, very inconsistent. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I heard that Moyes wanted to give everybody a chance. So he could see for himself who needs to go, what needs to be done. But yeah, Ashley Young is definitely not a...
How much of a chance do you give people? I mean, you saw with Liverpool last season, with a new manager coming in who was going to try and adapt a new system, that it takes a while. Liverpool had an awful start of last season, which really hindered their chances of getting into the Champions League. How long do you give that? I
agree that there is no time in this day and age. Even one poor result could cost you the title.
Exactly.
You could lose the title by, as we saw, United lost the title on goal difference 2 years ago. Exactly. So even 1 point could be crucial at the end of the season. There is no time.
I mean,
obviously you're not going to panic and rush into...
You don't want knee-jerk reactions.
Exactly.
But it's United, you know, and you can't be having awful starts to the season. Under Ferguson, the team knew how to react and knew how to come back from setbacks. Will Moyes be able to motivate them? Do you think Moyes can do that?
Perhaps. He needs more time to establish himself. It's not going to happen overnight. Ferguson didn't happen for him overnight.
No, exactly.
So obviously we don't want to be like Chelsea and Manchester City and just get rid of managers just like that. You need some stability. That's why, if we're to believe what we read, that's why Moyes was appointed instead of Mourinho. Stability.
If we're to believe what we read, and sometimes right.
That's right. Stability. Mourinho's too confrontational. He's not stable.
But he leaves after a couple of years.
But again, when it's been a very frustrating transfer window for United. you ask any global star, who would you rather play for? Jose Mourinho, David Moyes. We know what the answer would be.
Yeah, it's
now, but who knows in a few years what the situation is going to be.
Definitely. I mean, when Ferguson first came onto the scene,
That's
I'm sure
right.
not many people really wanted to play for him. But United were in the process of building there. They're at the top now.
That's right.
It's slightly different.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on. Well, let's go back to the transfer period a bit later, but we'll talk about the North London derby,
Okay.
Arsenal Spurs. What do you think's happening there? Arsenal haven't spent any money, or well, they hadn't until now anyway. We're not sure what tonight might bring.
Yes.
Mesut Ozil.
It's rumoured to be going to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Very good headline in London's Evening Standard newspaper today. Tottenham had the players, but Arsenal had the team. As the old cliche goes, you can buy all the best players in the world, you need to make them gel as a team.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't just throw 11 individuals onto a pitch and expect them to perform as a team.
Well, I think Spurs' policy has been, let's buy a squad with the money that we're getting from Bale. Let's make our squad better, but without purchasing possibly that player that can unlock a defence, that can win a match out of nothing for you, because that's what Gareth Bale was.
That's right.
And then the question boils down to, I mean, would you rather have Gareth Bale in your team, or would you rather have £100 million worth of good players? I mean, the only player that they've bought who is a regular first team international, arguably, from all of those players, is Paulinho, the Brazilian. The others aren't regular first team internationals.
It's an interesting point you made there. My answer would be I would rather have one superstar that can conjure up a moment of magic to win a game on his own, rather than 4 or 5 decent, pretty good players.
It shows
that's my personal
It's your ambition,
opinion.
though, isn't it? I mean, do you want to win football matches, or do you want to balance the books?
That's right. But Bale himself wanted to leave. In this day and age with player power, it's extremely difficult to keep a player that doesn't want to be there
but then
and wants to play for somebody
if you look
else.
at our teams, we've both Liverpool and Manchester United have both put their foot down and said, "You're not leaving." You know,
Rooney and Suarez
for any price, and that's the message that you've got to send out to these big clubs. Because the minute Real come in, they're expecting some kind of reaction. If Spurs have led them on to believe that if they give them X amount of money, which in this case is 80 whatever million, that they're willing to sell. And if clubs tell them no, we're not going to sell, they'll stop. They won't keep hassling players. But yeah, Arsenal didn't spend a penny, still managed to come out on top with some purchases. What do you reckon the season holds for them? Do you think that they can challenge for the title?
Realistically, I think not. I mean, there are rumours today that they're about to sign Mesut Ozil for £42 million from Real Madrid, which would absolutely obliterate their transfer record.
That's just one player, isn't it?
That's
right.
right.
It's not building a
I mean,
squad.
my personal opinion is I can't see Arsenal even challenging for the title. I'd give them a very, very low possibility of challenging for the title. They will challenge for the top 4. They probably will make the top 4.
Like always.
But
By hook or by crook.
I'd say there's zero chance of them winning the Premier League. I know it's a bold statement, but can you see
That's
Arsenal
fair.
winning the Premier League ahead of both Manchester clubs and Chelsea?
No. I mean, City and Chelsea have such strong squads and strong managers as characters that it's really going to be difficult for anyone to challenge them. Even I personally believe even United are going to struggle to break into the City and Chelsea axis at the top, because they've spent money and they spent it well in the transfer window, and they spent it early, which I think is important.
Yes.
If you look at Arsenal, Manchester United, they've waited, they've dithered, and look, who knows? Are United going to sign anybody? They've been linked with Herrera from Athletic Bilbao, who very few people know too much about. Arsenal are trying to get Ozil, maybe Demba Ba on loan, but nobody really knows.
That's right.
I mean, how do you feel United have done in the transfer window? I mean, it's
Well, so far it's been extremely disappointing. Also, I'm not too sure about our new chief executive, Ed Woodward. He doesn't really seem to know what he's doing. He seems to be well over his head. Obviously, it's a huge new challenge for him.
Yeah.
Offering, what was it, 28 million for Baines and Fellaini.
But it looks like they're coming back in for them.
What's that all about? What are they thinking? And putting all their eggs in one basket with Fabregas also.
It didn't look like your transfer policies are particularly productive this transfer window. I mean, as a Liverpool fan, I know what that's like. Last summer we had awful transfer activity. We brought in Mourinho, who's gone out on loan. We brought Joe Allen in, who hasn't really shown the best of his abilities. We didn't have a scouting network in place then, so that was the problem. Obviously, bringing in new blood, a new manager, a new chief executive, it takes a while for stuff like that to develop and for people to trust that that's the right network in place.
Yes.
Right, next subject. We don't have any Premier League football for another 2 weeks. Personally, I find that extremely boring and frustrating because this Premier League season is 3 games in. We've just gotten excited about this new season, especially as a Liverpool supporter. I'm extremely excited. I'm over the moon.
You're on top of the league.
Exactly. So the fact that the international break is coming in, possible injuries. I mean, you've already seen players pull out of the England squad prematurely with injuries. There might be more injuries coming in. I say scrap internationals during the season. Have one at end of the season. Play the groups, and then at the end of the next season you play the tournament, and then that way your season goes on uninterrupted. It ends quicker, and therefore it gives you slightly more time to play the tournament and give players a bit of a break at the end of the summer. I know it's a bit extreme, but that's how I feel about it.
Well, look, this is the long-standing club versus country issue, isn't it? I mean, FIFA does set the dates when internationals are played, whether it's World Cup qualifiers or friendlies. The dates are nothing to do with the national associations. It's FIFA, World Governing Body, sets the dates. Obviously, I agree with you. 3 games into the season, bit silly to have World Cup qualifiers. But the World Cup qualifiers coming up, especially from England's point of view, are vital. England are far from making it to the World Cup. Can you imagine the World Cup, the home of football in Brazil, and for us that love the Premier League, that love English football, England are in danger of missing out.
It would be disastrous.
Disastrous. We're trailing Montenegro, the mighty Montenegro.
The mighty Montenegro.
I mean, it's still in England's hands. England can win their games and qualify easily. Even if it goes to a playoff, I'd still back England.
But looking at the squad, with Rooney out injured with his
with a
head injury.
That's right, he's going to miss both games. That's right, various other injuries.
Is there...
Hodgson has a lot to think about, let's put it that way.
Do you think Hodgson is capable of making that squad qualify?
Well, Hodgson can only work with the players he has at his disposal. For a long time now, we've said England have had great players on paper, the golden generation, Beckham, Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard, came to nothing.
It did, that's true.
Now on paper, the players are weaker than what England had a few years ago.
They've got some good youngsters coming through. I mean, Andros Townsend looked decent yesterday for Spurs. He was half Cypriot, of course.
That's right,
There's Sturridge, Welbeck. They've got some decent players. Do they have world beaters? Do they have world-class players?
No. And when you look...
But Ukraine and Montenegro don't either, do they?
No.
I mean, Jovetic maybe...
That's right,
for Montenegro...
But perhaps, I don't know what it is with England. It just, for me, comes down to a basic lack of technique. You look at England and you look at many other nations, the ability to control a ball and keep possession...
It can be beyond
something, that's right, that many other countries do better than England.
Well, it's like watching a normal Spanish league game, not between one of the giants, and then watching a normal English league game, and it's leagues.
That's right. I'll give you a classic example of this. I think in Spain, a defender will intercept the ball and pass it to his teammate
or goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's right. In England, a defender will just boot it out.
If in doubt.
Boot it out.
Exactly.
And there will be applause. In Spain, if a defender does that, he won't be applauded for that.
No.
Just booting it out.
It might get lambasted by his coach as well. But
I mean, this has been a long-standing issue for many years with England. This isn't the first time this issue has come up.
It'd be a shame if they don't make it, though.
Of course it will.
I think the whole footballing community, the world, needs to see England there. I mean,
Even though
maybe we say it from an egotistical
I think you'll be
point of
surprised
view,
actually other countries don't like England.
But they like to beat England, though, don't they? So
They love to
England.
beat England, but there's no love lost for England.
No, definitely. Okay, well, thanks for your time, Leo, and maybe we'll see you again on the couch, being another armchair fan.
Thank you, Peter. It's been a pleasure. Very interesting.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.